My name is Wolf, and today we are back with Our Life Beginning and Always with Derek's epilogue. You sat on the bench across from Derek. Derek held a thumbs up to you before turning to the attendant. Then the employee closed the tiny elevated room. You fully encased inside, muffled the practiceness so much you could believe the entire world had suddenly faded away. Glancing out the window showed that all was well. The car rocketed forward, and you watched as the ground grew farther away. Derek unsteadily slid his sneakers across the grated metal floor until his feet was nice and snug against yours, and your knees almost bumped. He was very cute. He was very cute. You closed the lingering space and leaned your leg into his. You and Derek were completely unreachable there. The duration of the ride, it was only you and him. That was freeing in a way. Derek seemed to think so too, because it got him to talk without reservation. I know we didn't get to do much. I know we didn't get to do all that much here. We're finishing up, and the sun hasn't even started to set. But even still, this has been the best trip to the Boardwalk I've had in years. He poked a small chunk of glitter on his cheek that got clumped together, and it stuck out from the rest.
You're seriously great.
I hope you know I really appreciate it. You're always looking out for me. You deserve to have someone to spoil you. The Ferris Wheel continued to go round on its unchanged path, always forwards, never back. Even in the brightness of a summer day, a shadow fell over Derek's face. Well, you succeeded in making me happy. Is it alright to ask if you had fun too? Of course. Any time with Derek is a good time. That's good to know. His gaze dropped and his voice slowed with a heavy weight of emotional strain.
Thank you.
Thanks to you, I finally got to feel like I did when I was a little kid for a little while. That means a lot. That's what I've been chasing since I got here. The big park all dark and empty. Derek's pained confession. The scene all flashed through your mind. His words rang out. How you felt so lost. How you felt like you lost so much and could never get it back. Maybe it wasn't entirely true after all. This soft smile on his face was exactly the same boy you once knew. Hey, you remember that time you stayed over at my place and we camped out in the living room? We talked about the future and our dreams. The Father's Day thing might have been more of a bombshell, but I haven't found the rest of the adventure. Yeah, same. We had such great plans a decade ago, huh?
Oh man.
Now we're here and I have no idea what I'm doing. Derek pressed himself into the heavy metal wall behind the seat and sunk down into it. I thought my 13-year-old self would have demanded a refund if he called it a psychic. They told him what direction his life was going to go in, and that would still lead to getting together with you. That's obviously made up. Come on, Derek. Everyone knows you're too polite to ask for your money back. You're right, but I would have thought about it. I would have made a great speech in my head. But it's only fair to not pay for a reading like that. Derek's voice faded out after the sound of his fingers tapping against the seat, one after another. They played a rapid beat like the firing of a heart.
This sucks.
Sucks that there's no way to actually know what's going to happen in the future.
Forget it.
At least today was fun. A good break from having to be grown-ups. Boo! I want to be a kid forever. You have to appreciate the attempt of optimism. It didn't stop you from being bummed that it was all over. Well, I can't do anything about that dream. Sorry. Too bad. He grinned and stared at you head on. Hey, you should come by again sometime. Whenever you want to. Or can anyway. You mean it? Definitely.
Leave it to me.
It's my apartment, and I'm an adult, and I say Kelly Wolf is allowed to visit all the time. He declared it proudly with Fog's air of haughtiness. If his pitch had been a little higher, the statement would have been fairly... If his pitch had been a little higher, the statement would have been fairly accurate imitation of Liz. It was all more than a little silly, but the smile growing on your face stopped short of becoming full. Derek's bold-faced confidence was only pretend. Regret remained hidden behind every smile. But I'm not gonna be too busy for you anymore. I figured out what my actual priorities are way later than I should have,
I swear.
But I did.
I swear.
Part of that is being someone you can actually count on again. So, my door is always open.
The truth is...
Since you've been here, I've finally started to see a future I want to have. I thought about it more and more, and it keeps coming back to the same thing. I don't want to be this far away from you. That was it all along. The entire time you'd been staying with him. And even before you actually arrived, those are the words Derek had been holding back. He didn't restrain them any longer. I was hoping to be closer to you when I lived in the next city over. Being neighbors was my dream. I wasn't totally kidding about that. But I wasted all the years we had been at manageable travel distance from each other. I pushed off facing you for real until I reached a perpetually moving goalpost. I regret that. I still do. I don't know if it'll stop pissing me off. Derek thought that his long-held anger had begun to carry him. He squeezed his eyes shut and forced a shaky, though steadying exhale out. That's not what matters, though. I can't redo that past. I've got to focus on what I can do. And what is that? I can move. I could live next to you now. The glowing darkness of the past faded under the shining hope of a better tomorrow. Why not, right? It's not as if I would be cancelling any amazing plans. I gave up everything before you got here. So, this would be the best time for it. I don't have to renew my lease, and the career ideas I do could have... I don't have to renew my lease, and the career ideas I do have could come with me. I could start them somewhere else. Or, I know you're with Carve, but if you're wanting to come back to the area more for a vacation, I could keep my apartment and you can move in. Maybe you would want to move closer too, but I'll be for anywhere wherever you are. We could be there for each other day by day. For the first time, Derek had expressed the whole and honest truth of what he wanted for his life, for himself. It wasn't about his family, or only your sake. But even then, Derek couldn't help recomposing his preferences. He doubted the appeal of his hopes to anyone other than himself.
Don't worry about that.
I get it if you think it'll be overkill, or if you...
Don't worry about that.
Or if you're still worried about how it'd work out. It wouldn't have to be forever. He winked cheerily. He winked cheekily and familiar. I'm not asking you to marry me again. Maybe it would only last for a year and we'd have new plans. I'm gonna need time to figure out the long term either way.
So,
that's Derek's new plan. What do you think? Or, if you wanted, I know Cope wouldn't mind if you stayed with us. It was obvious. As soon as he said it, you questioned why it took this song to you. It was obvious. As soon as he said it, you questioned why it took this song to realize you could simply be near each other if you wanted. You and Cove managed to stick together, and that had been great. Including Derek could complete the picture. But the next instant, you remembered why. Neither of you pictured the other feeling the same way. You imagined Derek was pursuing his sports dreams and would never interrupt that. He saw himself as unworthy of others' acceptance until an abstracted level of success was attained. But those days were behind both of you. The answer you gave was, and the dazzling smile it gave Derek was proof of it.
Really?
Really? He nodded with complete resolute. There wasn't any need for doubt. Really? Woo! His arms shot up as he whipped a victorious cheer. Unfortunately, the Ferris Wheel car wasn't built for that kind of celebration. His fist cracked directly against the metal ceiling of the cabin. But his laugh totally shaking off his smarting knuckles. Nothing was going to bring him down. He started rambling off moving logistics preparations that needed to be made. Informing the landlord he wouldn't be renewing his lease was paramount, but he was positive she wouldn't mind. Most of what he had was still packed from his prior move. That would make the process easier. And once again, he expressed gratefulness that he hadn't furnished the apartment himself. It was dry grown up responsibility stuff, and yet it sparked more excitement than you. And yet it sparked excitement in you than any amusement park could have. Derek was able to rein in the frenzied babbling long enough to extend a hand towards you intently. You understood what he meant by that. The place, the time of day, the terms of the situation was entirely different from the first time Derek made you an offer. But the feelings behind it remained the same. And it's just desire to not be separated. You took hold of one another securely and shook.
It's a deal.
It's the deal. Yeah. Deal. How? He slowly let go before staring down his hand in wide-eyed disbelief. As if it wasn't his. But it was. Derek had taken his own life into that hand of his. He believed that he wouldn't lose hold of it ever again. And actually did it. His scuffed fingers curled into a fist, and then lifted his intense green eyes to your face. Derek had grown. He held himself back. He changed, and he had remained himself. He had grown up into an adult he should be proud of, and still he was the boy you met 10 years ago. It was true all at once, and it made you happier than you could say. I'm feeling better about the future already. Thanks, Callie. Derek had gained genuine confidence. He trusted his own decisions now, that they would make the best. He trusted his own decisions now that they were made to seek the best instead of hide from the worst. Nothing in the world was more heartening than that. I am too, Derek. Derek satisfyingly stretched out his arms in front of him. He learned his lesson about moving them higher. Well, I might not really know what I'm doing with my life, but at least I've got the first step. I've got to get packing. I can sell more of it later. You shook with the swaying of your personal cabin of laughter. You shook with the swaying of your personal cabin and of laughter too. Derek snickered to himself, but clung to a piece of the prior seriousness.
Phew.
It's a relief. Feeling good about what's coming next is more than I had a few days ago. And 23 is not that old. It's still plenty of time to work it out. I might even find a way to fit in football in the vision somewhere, somehow. The world is our oyster, Derek.
You know it.
Looks like it. You usually write about stuff. For the first time in his waking hours, Derek was completely at peace with himself. He leaned over and kissed his lips. It was more than a little awkward to bridge the gap, but it was worth it once you reached. You managed a sweet, feather-light kiss on the corner of his soft mouth. Derek's breath licked your face when he snorted, because it tickled him, literally and metaphorically. Still, he kept you close, wrapping a heavy arm around your shoulders. Derek was there with you, and you were with him. For that you were grateful.
Well...
Hey, Callie. His voice was a gentle whisper, as if you were still laying on the couch half asleep, and nothing more than just a dream. Yeah? Does this count as our second date? You bet, it's Derek's day. He smushed your cheek, snickering. He smushed your cheek, Snickers slipping through his lips. I'd say we're doing pretty good at this relationship thing. Me too, Derek.
Congrats.
Another good thing to add to the list. Your spirits have flown straight to the moon like a pair of shooting stars. Though, physically you are still in the gently drifting cabin. His position was on the decline. The ride came to its end, you were ready for that, and whatever else you could inevitably face. You had a teammate right in front of you to tackle life's challenges with. When your cabin arrived at the bottom, you took your turn to dismount. The same attendant gestured to the tall-framed exit gate and thanked you for coming. Feeling distracted, you left the Ferris wheel behind you. Derek took wide, puppy steps to clear the way for the next passengers to get through.
Whoa.
Whoa! Then he came to an abrupt halt. Then he abruptly came to a complete halt. What's the time? What time is it again? I completely forgot that was probably going to be our last stop. He was glancing around as if he would be able to spot a clock in the floating air with enough persistence. Eventually, he recalled he owned a cell phone. He really chuckled while he dug it out of his sweatpants pocket. Yep, damn, we've got to go. You might be pushing it a little already. You've got other people to see. Derek shoved his phone back in its place with a sigh. The second I have fun, the responsibility goes out the window. I'm sorry. Don't worry. It's not too late, and I wouldn't have missed this. Thanks. You're great. I wouldn't have wasted any... Thanks. You're great. I won't waste any time worrying about wasting time. Right? Exactly. Let's head out. Together, you bounced across the boardwalk one last time. The energy still filling the area. The energy still filling the area was thrilling, and the rush made it easier to leave behind. Soon you were packed into Derek's car on the long trip to your second home. After me... I mean, technically I would see it as more than that home. Oh well. After having made the most of the afternoon you got. On the long drive back from the park, there were moments of conversations, and of quiet reminiscing about the past and imaginations of the future. And, of course, the now upcoming move was a major source of discussion. You decided to announce it to everyone while they were all together. The decision had been made, so there was no reason to hide it. Sitting in the passenger seat for those hours, you sometimes felt as if you hadn't left the Ferris wheel down in the sky. The atmosphere in Derek's car had a similar way about it that made you feel disconnected from the rest of the world. No one else could reach you or him, and you could say anything there. But there was a major difference. The peace and comfortable status was only an illusion. You weren't on a slow, unchanging path of that park ride. Derek was speeding down a California highway in race against time. There was a party at the end of the road, and Derek was never one to be late. When he finally pulled into the apartment complex parking lot, the car went silent. Its leg of the relay was over. The frantic rush had to be carried on your own flesh and bones. No moment was wasted snatching up the few belongings you had brought along and booking it towards the building. You passed no one in the halls. Derek had his key already and prepared to unlock the door. And when you swung it open, you saw the living room you'd grown accustomed to, so empty. The space was untouched since you left early that morning. At least, it was as far as you could remember. But Derek didn't celebrate an early victory. He put his fingers to his lips and made a show of checking behind the couch and around the kitchen counter just to make sure his family hadn't used their spare keys to prepare another surprise. He trotted behind Derek, step by step, as he magically scowled about his own house. He checked around every corner, and he tried again to look over his board shoulders to see her. Nicholas and Liz could absolutely not be trusted. If they came by the apartment and found you and Derek gone, they'd almost certainly play the same joke twice. However, they hadn't gotten the chance. Derek stood tall and concluded his inspection with that revelation. We've done it. No one is here. We spent the whole day out and still beat them. With a cheer, he relished the victory now that I was truly assured.
Man.
A boardwalk date with Callie, being on time, and getting to see the family before the day is over. Things are really going my way, huh? It's perfect. Derek saying the day was perfect made it so for you too. After a lifetime of compromises and sacrifices, you were proud to see him get exactly what he wanted. And it was more than a little thrilling. That significant part of what he wanted was you. Derek Day should be a national holiday.
Thank you.
Thanks, Callie. His voice was gentle and his gaze soft with affection. But as Derek came near to you, the warmth shot up to poetry. With a single spark, it would burst.
You're seriously great.
You're a great partner, I hope you know. You couldn't look away from his fixed gaze, but became incredibly aware of his fingers trailing down your arms. Liz had been so certain none of the Suarez men could woo anyone. She would have to eat those words if she ever saw Derek truly put his mind to it. Thanks. Is there anything else you might like from your great partner? It was only fair to flirt back a little with how strong he was coming on. Yet the reply made his lips quack. He darted his ears and nearly lost his composure. What he didn't do was quit. He didn't tell himself or you he was wrong or there was a mistake either. Instead, Derek held up his coy smile with the confidence he had managed to store away for emergencies and indulge in further romantic pursuits.
Well.
Honestly, right now, all I want to be alone with you. Once again, he closed in on you, this time until you were near enough that your nose is touched. It's pretty convenient we've got the place to ourselves for a minute, huh? Does this mean I can finally see your bedroom? Derek had played it very cool, but in the instant he lit up, a glow from head to toe. Oh, definitely! This is right timing for that final piece of the tour. Perfect. He threaded his fingers through yours and gripped tight. The hand was steady and hot. There wasn't a trace of pre-game jitters, only excitement. Okay, but before anything else, maybe I should wipe the shooting star off my face. You snorted like you were your mom, but that was not exactly a romantic thing to bring up now. However, it was fittingly practical and Derek-esque. No, leave it! It's cute!
What?
Huh? Really? Really? Huh? If you say so. And you're keeping the shooting star, I think. Yes. In that case, as you were. You left the main area of the apartment behind to hide away together in the very back corner. The neat and simple room was very dark. Not that you paid it much attention. You hadn't come to see if the carpets and drapes matched. He set both of his arms and to yours, wrapping you up in him. You were so cozy like that, you didn't need anything else in the world. Flushed and content, you rested your cheek against Derek's hair. It was soft, even though it was soft, even though it always looked spiky. Careful not to jostle you. Derek led you both down on the bed. And I'm boiling in like dressing gown. He sat comfortably on the mattress and you were in his lap. Neither of you had plans of untangling from each other. Derek traced his fingers down the length of your spine. His touch was a soothing balm to every worry that might be able to conjure up. You welcomed it, snuggling closer. Nothing could touch you then, other than your loving partner. Once, Derek didn't attempt to move right back into a new conversation. His hands were going up and down your back. That was okay with you. In a dreamy haze, you gladly listened to only the sound of his heart and the slow breaths. Then the doorbell rang. Ah! Derek blinked wide, blurry eyes. That was definitely the door's buzzer. But you could have fooled him into thinking it was an alarm clock waking him up for a fantasy.
This sucks.
And it's been, 5 minutes since we were preparing? And I already lost track of the party thing. And that we were expecting and that we're expecting guests. Well, I can forgive myself for the slip-up. That was a hell of a distraction. I forgot we even had families the second you started flirting. Derek loud bark of laughter, throwing his head back before promptly burying his face against you. He mumbled through a grin into the nape of your neck. Each word had his lips struck against his skin. Is it too late to cancel? Even though he was joking, it was still tempting, both of you. But it couldn't be done. Mustering his years of experience of being the responsible one, Derek heaved you and him onto your feet. It was time to go. Come on. With a fresh pep in your step, you and Derek said goodbyes to your dreamland and returned to the world of the living, which took the form of Derek's living room. But the expectant smile that was on Derek's face even down to a bemused line. His brain was walking, and his mouth dropped open in a terrible realization. Wait, didn't I invite them over for dinner? We don't have time to make food. We could have salad snacks, but what kind of dinner party is that? I said that so we'd have much as time as possible at the park, but I wasn't considering that we actually need a dinner. Shoot! We don't even have enough food in the house for how many people are coming. We can make this work. Yeah, exactly. It's fine, I've got an idea. We're gonna have takeout. How about pizza? And the other stuff, places like have salad, wings, and so on.